Hello again, and welcome back to another amazing day. So I filmed only a little bit yesterday, not much, but that's okay because it was a little boring. All I did was came back and I finished up cutting in the tile and laying it in. So unfortunately today we've got a bit of a dilemma. I would really like to get started on the countertops, right? But we've got some projects that we have been neglecting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the countertops while John works on the bench on the stuff that needs our attention over there. So if you follow along with us, I'll be working on that and we're going to switch back and forth. So you'll get to see some pretty cool stuff today. What I'll be doing is making sure that everything here is nice and clean. I've got some holes to cut as well. So the wiring and plumbing for the steamer, drop-ins for the steam collection bucket, the ultrasonic, some other things. And then the drop-in work area for the Orion 200i2 welder. It should be a lot of fun. Follow along. Alright, step one's a bit counterintuitive because it doesn't technically have anything to do with the countertop at all. This is our steamer that I'm going to want to put over in the corner. And this will be the face that's facing out, so our steam will come out and down. The tolerances on the counter are a bit tight, so what I'm going to need to do, just for safety and aesthetic's sake, is move these two cords that come out of the front of the steamer so that they come out of the bottom, right? That will allow me to place the holes correctly where they need to be in the countertop to run them directly down. There's a bucket or collection for collecting steam and things that goes in the front of this, and it needs to butt as close as possible directly to the face of this, and having these come out of the steamer this way would not be helpful. It would foul the edge of the bucket, and we don't want that. So, step one is going to be to take a look inside this bad boy, and it doesn't look at all like I'm going to have much of an issue. So I'm going to flip it on its side, and I'm going to put two holes right in here, one for each cord, and later, when I actually do the install, I'll be able to run the cabling in correctly.
A few inches later.
So that will let me run the cables up all the way through the counter from the bottom. It should leave for a much prettier product at the end of the day. My next step is to move this over into the corner so I can find out where the outlines of the steamer are going to be, where I'm going to need to put holes, and mark and drill accordingly. Okay guys, so what you were watching there, like I said, was laying things out, figuring out where they're going to go, figuring out what I have to cut to make sure of, where each tool is going to sit. The entire point of this new area is actually to have a home, a dedicated place for each tool, and of course cut down on some of the minor or less minor annoyances that we have to experience every day while working on these things. So we've got pin tumbler, ultrasonic, collection bucket for the steamer itself. What I've got to do now, what that leaves me with, is a recessed area here to collect all of the stuff that builds up just when you're working with the welder. To that end, what I'm going to do is build an extension onto this, right, so that this tucks up under here. I'll cut this out and extend it down with, I think it's 2" by 2" square round or wooden something. I have no idea, I got it from Home Depot. Point is, I'm going to make up a little frame here in just a minute so I can trace this out like I did with everything else, and then start cutting, probably. While I'm doing that, if you can hear that rasping sound in the background, that's actually John on the bench, like I told you. So if you want, we can go check in on him real fast and see what he's up to. Hey, John.
Yo, hey, oh.
What you doing?
Hello. So, had a customer drop off an arrowhead, and she wanted a hole drilled in it, and then she wanted a clasp put on top, but she was kind of She didn't want a square flasp, she wanted a rounded top clasp. So I have made that, and now I've put it together, and I'm cleaning up my edges right here where the connection is. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm also working on a ring. I've got to add a band on this side, and also I have to straighten this out for a customer that's coming later.
Sounds pretty busy. How much better do you think it would be if we were doing this in the new space?
Oh my God, it would be amazing, because actually after this, this bag here has to be done, and then I have to finish that right there also. So all that has to be done by tonight, and it would be awesome to have a workspace that actually worked correctly.
Well then, let's get on it. All right, I got this frame put together. All I need to know is where the inside of this is. Then we can get some cutting tools and start slicing this bad boy up. So, absolutely everything, including me, is completely covered in sawdust. But I smell amazing, manly, like sawdust and stain. I have attached that frame to the bottom of that piece I showed you earlier. So what I'm going to do is clean up the sawdust a bit, attach this where it needs to be, and then once I've done that, we'll be able to begin mixing and pouring the resin. Unless I've skipped a step. I may have skipped a step, but we'll find out in a minute. It's been brought to my attention that I did skip a step. So we're about to pour the countertop. But before we do that, we need to lay down a substrate. So of course the plywood is, the actual countertop, what is doing the supporting of everything that's on top of it. But in order to get the effect that we want, sort of a blackish, bluish, white base granite, we need to lay down our off-white base in paint first before we come back in and pour our resin. So I'm going to tape off the corners here, the edges, and then we're going to lay down a layer or two of paint, and once that's dried, then we can pour our resin, and it's going to look amazing. Alright guys, that's what that looks like. We've got the resin down. It's on top of a beautiful layer of kills, which will seal that wood and prevent anything from actually getting through, if anything was going to get through the resin, which we both know it's not. We're going to have to leave this for a couple of days, about 72 hours or so, to let it cure. And then we'll be able to lay down a very thin top layer. It's going to polish up beautifully. It's amazing. Holes are cut, tools are ready to go in. I can't even think of anything else I would have wanted to do today. It's been amazing. It's been great having you with us. Check here for a high-definition gallery of pictures of while we're doing this, and a better explanation of what we were doing while we were putting the resin down. It's a bit of a finicky process, and it has to go quickly by necessity, so we probably missed some stuff in the video, but I'll explain it all right here. Right? Check out the next video here. As always, we'd love to hear your comments down in the comments section, and until next time, we'll see you.